One of my newsletter subscribers sent me this picture to draw, and I decided I would do it with Inktense water-soluble pencils, which are kind of great. Like if you're at the farmer's market or a place like this where you're drawing produce, it's sort of perfect because you can carry as little as this with you, plus a sketchbook, and actually get a lot done. So the cool thing about these Inktense pencils being water soluble is you can just add a little bit of water that's already inside the brush. You just need to squeeze it out. And the color will move around in a really beautiful way. And it's just perfect for this kind of thing where you're on the move a lot, you're in a really crowded environment, you know, like a farmer's market. Maybe a watercolor setup is just a bit much. And you can actually get quite a lot done with a pretty small selection of different colors. And you can also blend these colors really easily. So I decided I wanted to bring in some more orange, and it's really easy to do that. And it's a good idea, especially if you're drawing something like a whole bunch of tomatoes. Like just do one, see how you like it, and see what else you might add to it. That's another great thing about pencils like these is you can keep layering. You can even draw on top while the paper's still wet and get really rich, saturated colors, which does not work with regular colored pencils. So I'm just going to keep going around this drawing, doing more blending. Like the more of these I do, the more I learn just how much I want to bring in some darker and lighter colors, just to kind of continue playing around with this. So just in the spirit of experimentation, I'm just trying a lot of different things, layering them on, and then adding the water to see how it goes. So I made a little mistake right there that I decided to leave in, which is I squeezed out some water right onto the paper, and it made kind of a big puddle. So that's not really what I intend to do here. Normally, I would squeeze out the water out of the brush onto a little rag or just onto the ground if I'm outside. You just want the brush to be damp. You don't actually need water gushing out of it to be able to get these effects. I'm also remembering as I go here that I do want to leave little white spaces for the reflections on the tomatoes because that's something that makes them look three-dimensional, and it's always cool when you can get a light source in like that. You know, it's not always so easy to do, especially if you're sort of caught up in the moment and really just trying to get the colors just right. So when I'm out, like at the farmer's market, that may be more than I actually can get done while I'm just standing there in the crowds drawing. But since I've got a little more time with this photo, I am taking more care and just really trying to pay attention to the reflections as well. By the way, the full version of this demo goes out to my newsletter subscribers. So I'm going to put a link below and a little more information at the end if you're interested. You can get it in your inbox once a week, and you can also see the longer version and actually do this one along with me if you like. So now I'm getting into the orange tomatoes. I just saved those. They're kind of a little bit more easy to do because they're basically, you know, just one solid color, but it's also cool to play around here with the idea of leaving a little bit of lighter areas and the reflection so they also look like they're actually round. So now all I need to do is add a little green into the centers and some of those darker leaves. So I'm just using a couple of different green pencils for that. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add in some shadows. This is something that when I'm sketching on site, like at the farmer's market or something, I generally don't have time for the luxury of doing the shadows, but I think it looks pretty cool. And I am sending this to one of my newsletter subscribers, and she might want to, you know, put it on the wall or keep it or whatever. So I'm happy to spend a little extra time doing some details for her. And I'll go ahead and just sketch in the edges of that plate as well. I think that's kind of a cool little detail. So as I finish this up, there are a few more little sort of tips and techniques for working with Inktense pencils, and I get into more of that in the longer version of this, but I hope this gives you some ideas. Take this out and give it a try. If you're enjoying this, I hope you'll give it a like and a subscribe, but I also wanted to let you know that the full version of this and a bunch of other things I post on YouTube is all available to my newsletter subscribers. So if you sign up, you get something new every week where we do the full version with a lot more detail, videos, art supplies. We also do live Zooms together, all kinds of stuff. So there's the address, and check that out too if you're interested.